Hi everyone, and welcome to the Azure Database for MySQL monthly live stream webinar. I'm Neil D'Souza, working with the Azure Database for MySQL team at Microsoft. Today I'll be taking you through the 2024 recap of all the announcements, feature updates, and improvements that we made in the product over the year, and upcoming roadmap uh, looking forward. So I'd also like to remind those who might have missed any of our previous episodes. You can check out the session recordings on our YouTube channel. Our handle is at Azure DB for MySQL. So wishing everyone a happy 2025. And as we begin the year, it's a good time to look back what we achieved in 2024, reflect on the learnings, and look forward to what's in store for 2025. Let's get started. So to take you through all the summary of the 2024, classifying all into multiple buckets. So let's start with the most important one that we have prioritized is the security. So in security, we have the feature Microsoft Defender support for cloud, which is in general availability. Simplifies your security management of MySQL flexible server with advanced threat protection features. And the next one is Azure Key Vault Managed HSM support for customer managed keys, which is also in general availability. Use the HSM backed encryption keys to protect data at rest in MySQL flexible server instances. Now moving on to the next bucket is the apps and AI integration. There are some new innovations and integrations that we have delivered last year. So the first one being the Microsoft Copilot in Azure. So which extends the capabilities of the Azure Database for MySQL, leveraging large language models and the Azure control plane. So this will be the first integration with the Copilot on Azure. The next one is the popular open source e-commerce platform Magento. We have a one-click fully automated deployment, which is ARM template, and it will deploy all the required Azure resources, set up the infra, create all the containers in AKS, and deploy the Magento application and its dependencies. All you have to do is load up your product database into the MySQL flexible server that is also created as part of the deployment, and you have your e-commerce site up and running, and you can log into the admin page to manage it and customize further. Next one is building a RAG application using Azure OpenAI and integration with Azure AI Search. This will enhance the product search through the vector search capabilities with this integration. Next, we also have some click-through demos for the Azure MySQL's top 3 use cases, which are the integration with the WordPress application, Moodle, which is a learning management solution, and Magento, the popular e-commerce platform. And moving on to the next section on some of the version support upgrades and maintenance. So we now support the MySQL 9.1 innovation release, which you can deploy on our platform to try out and test out your application and future-proof it for the next version of MySQL and before you actually go live. And also the another one coming is the MySQL LTS version 8.4. So these are a couple of new innovations that you can go ahead and use as of today in public preview. So the next one is major version upgrade for all service tiers. Previously, the burstable tier did not have this capability. Now, all the tiers support the major version upgrade from 5.7 to 8.0. Next comes the flexible maintenance options, which is also in general availability now, provide you a greater control over the timing of maintenance activities to keep your business optimally running. Moving on to the performance category. So we have seen with accelerated logs to achieve a 2x increase in throughput for business critical service tier. And moving on to the migration, which has the three capabilities we delivered. The MySQL import using physical backup, supporting a Percona backup taken from a Percona extra backup for your MySQL workloads on VM or on-premise, and easily you can load that into a MySQL flexible server using the MySQL import command. All you have to point is the Percona extra backup that you have taken off your MySQL server. Next is an innovation in DMS, where when we do the migrations, taking a consistent snapshot without logs, which is an improvement over the previous experience. And next comes our integration with Azure Migrate, providing the discovery and assessment capabilities for all your MySQL workloads, be it on-premise or virtual machine or any IaaS platform, to assess and see the compatibility with the flexible server, whether it is ready to be migrated or what you need to do, and it will give you the full inventory. So moving on to our developer experiences category, we have just launched in public preview a Azure Database for MySQL bindings in Azure Functions. Basically, for any input-output that happens or upserts that happen with the database can trigger MySQL functions and vice versa. So moving on to our final category is scalability. So we have enabled support for the storage to grow up to 32 terabytes, and also single table file. Previously it would support up to 4 terabyte. Now happy to say that we are able to support up to 8 terabyte of a single table. So these are all the major announcements from 2024 and feature updates that are in generally available public preview, and some in one of them in private preview. So if you would like to try out our MySQL discovery assessment in Azure Migrate integration, do write to us, and we will help you provide that preview experience. Now moving on to the feature roadmap that's in store in this year. We'll look at the current status and what's the next roadmap. So the first one is the virtual canary. So this feature releasing in preview, you can opt your dev, testing or staging servers to be in a virtual canary environment. This environment will receive monthly updates in advance. It gives you an opportunity to perform an additional layer of testing and updates to your lower environments on top of our internal tests that we have already executed on these environments. So this will help you alleviate any issue specific to your workload that you can catch early in your lower environments before and be ready for the production and make the changes so that it doesn't impact your production. Now let's move on to the next one, which is the MySQL discovery and assessment in Azure Migrate, which we went over just now in private preview. They're targeting public preview in the Q1 of this calendar year 2025. same as virtual canary. And next feature is unified migration experience with Azure DMS, where we are integrating most of the popular migration experience into one tool, Azure DMS, which will be in public preview, targeted the Q1 of the calendar year 2025. Moving on to the next one is business critical servers, zone resilient by default, which means that if you are setting up your MySQL flexible server in business critical tier, it will always be zone resilient. So you will get the multi-zone by default. So this is targeted GA Q1 of the 2025 calendar year. So moving on, the CMK enabled support for accelerated logs. So currently accelerated logs do not support the servers that have the customer managed key. But we are going to support it soon. So await for the Q1 of 2025 to have this feature. And then the error logs in server logs is currently in public preview. It will be going general available in this quarter, 2025 Q1. And coming to Azure DB for MySQL bindings in Azure Functions, currently in public preview, going GA in Q1 2025. The next one is near zero downtime maintenance for HA servers. So if you have enabled high availability for your MySQL flexible server with synchronous standby, you are getting a near zero downtime when the maintenance happens on the servers with HA enabled. So providing you more value and lower your downtimes and improve your availability of your database. So that's and the last but not the least is the support for MySQL versions 8.4 and 9.1, currently in public preview. We are targeting general available in the Q3 of the calendar year 2025. So that's it for the future roadmap. If you have questions, do reach us. And I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you all on the contributor initiative. So to get recognized for your efforts, collaborating with us on collaterals, and if you would like to feature on the webinars, do write to us, and you could earn these cool badges. Feel free to scan the QR code to know more. Now to leave you with our resources for anything related to Azure Database for MySQL flexible server. You can reach the aka.ms/mysql-resources, where you have all the links to covering all the content, learning content, and everything. And I'd like to share the homepage and the MySQL official documentation on aka.ms/mysql-docs. And do write to us at askazurdb4mysql@service.microsoft.com if you have any questions or you would like to participate in the contributor initiative. Our presence on social media is on YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn, primarily with the handle Azure DB for MySQL, and the LinkedIn page Azure MySQL-li. So do follow us and reach out with your questions or your feedback. So if you want to appear in a future live webinar, you want to collaborate with us, you could either write to us or you could also fill out the form on aka.ms mysql-webinar-feedback. And thanks for tuning in today, and hope to see you next month, second Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. PST for our live webinar. Thank you.